Now, while police officers were busy yesterday opening fire on innocent civilians, Kimani Ichung'wah was busy in the National Assembly uttering nonsensical remarks and also telling us that we must salute or we must accord our police officers the respect they deserve. And I want us to pay close attention to this statement that he made yesterday, because Kimani Ichung'wah is a perfect example of what could go wrong if these politicians are left unchecked. Let's watch this together and then we come back and evaluate what exactly happened yesterday and where do we go from here.
These are men and women who give their lives to the service of our nation. In other jurisdictions, Honorable Speaker, and many of you who travel outside see, that those who have served in the military, those who have served in the police forces in their jurisdictions are accorded very high respect, but even in retirement, not just when they're in service. You see, when you go to the US, they don't even queue in banks or at airports, those who have served in the military or in the disciplined forces. Why is it, Honorable Speaker, that for us we do not treat our servicemen and women with the same honor and dignity, yet we expect the same in return, Honorable Speaker? If we expect to be treated with courtesy, with honor and with respect by our uniformed officers, let us also treat them with the respect and honor that comes with the officers that they serve in, Honorable Speaker. These are the officers who are saluted to you, Honorable Speaker, and me and everybody else as we pass them in the streets. Many of us never bother to take our time to even know how they are doing, Honorable Speaker. And they are Kenyans like every other Kenyan, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, allow me also, Honorable Speaker, to take this opportunity. As much as we condemn excessive use of force by any officer, Honorable Speaker, and Honorable Speaker, to state that whatever happens, Honorable Speaker, in a country that has the rule of law at the core of its operations, Honorable Speaker, is something that this House must pay attention to, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, even or in spite or despite of the sad happenings of the death of Albert Ojwang, Honorable Speaker, I must commend the police that they have done their work to ensure that those who are responsible are brought to book.
All right, there. I want us to stop right there because, mark you, these statements are being uttered yesterday, 17th June 2025. This is not a statement your last month or your 2 months ago. This is a statement being uttered yesterday. And when he talks about the case of Albert Ojwang and then goes ahead and says, I commend the police officers, for doing what they've done to bring those responsible to justice. What exactly is he talking about? Because if there's anything we've witnessed, especially during the Albert Ojwang's proceedings, what we are getting are mixed statements from the police, left, right, and center. IPOA comes and says, you know what? Now 3 people are the ones who killed Albert Ojwang in the cell. Now we need to go after this person. The National Police Service comes and releases a statement and says, yeah, we confirm that Albert Ojwang was under our detention. He died because of banging his head on the wall, right? And then they say what? Lagat is stepping aside. Not stepping down, but stepping aside, which means even though he has stepped aside, we still get to pay this guy using our taxes. He's not stepping down, he's just stepping aside, right? So when Kimani goes and says, I commend, what exactly is he commending? But let's proceed, because once again, he wants us to accord the police the respect we see even in America. When they say, thank you so much for your service, or when someone says, hey, hi, my name is Jason and I was in the army, and you hear people say, yeah, hi, Jason, thank you so much for your service, right? And I do want to state, I know we do have great police officers here in this country, but we cannot contradict ourselves, especially given this timing when we are talking about extrajudicial killings, and go ahead and tell people, you know what, give these guys the respect they deserve. Where is the respect they are giving our people? And we will touch base on some of the events that happened yesterday, but let's continue listening in to Kimani Ichung'wah and see what exactly does he want Kenyans to do? What is this this respect he wants us to accord our men in uniform, well, they cannot stand in solidarity and say, we condemn extrajudicial killings in this country. This guy is just gaslighting us. He just wants people to feel guilty. He will talk about how some of the people here are daring police officers. But let me ask you something. If you let people demonstrate, if you let people protest, because I have witnessed very peaceful protests. Even last year, there were really peaceful protests, right? And they were not infiltrated with goons or people who have been paid to come and cause chaos. What is so hard in letting people protest and march without you throwing, canisters, the tear gas, without you shooting at people? Why is it so hard? And what are you so scared of? Because I fail to see instances where civilians will confront police if they feel that, their rights are not being violated. I mean, you see these people interacting with police officers, you see them during Madaraka. Did you just see Kenyans randomly intimidating police officers? The only time civilians will feel the need to also intimidate police officers is when they feel their rights are being violated. And some of these rights include peaceful demonstrations. Let people protest without you feeling the urge or without you throwing canisters and just, ambushing people and hurting people left, right, and center. But acheni tusikize Red Shoe anasema nini.
Because that is how civilized nations work. That is how civilized democracies work. That you allow investigative agencies to do their work, take action against those who are seen to have been involved in one way or the other in breach of the law, Honorable Speaker. But also in the same...
before we go in the same, when he says take action, we also want Kimani Ichung'wah to point us to 2 or 3 police officers whose actions have been taken upon, who have been taken to court, arraigned in court, been prosecuted, and also they are serving life for the crimes that they have committed. He talks about a country where rule of law exists. Does rule of law also entail you opening fire on innocent civilians? Ama when it's rule of law kwa civilians, you turn a blind eye and then you go on National Assembly and you start lecturing Kenyans on sending the same energy back to sender. But let's continue.
Right, Honorable Speaker, even as we condemn the excesses of a number of officers, because it is not all officers, Honorable Speaker. It is a few officers. Just like, Honorable Speaker, even in this house, we are not all angels. There are many of us who have our own shortcomings. And therefore, in every institution, Honorable Speaker, even within the police force, there are officers who will have excesses, and the law must be allowed to take its course, Honorable Speaker. But that must never be a justification that if an officer or 2 have exceeded the expectations of the public, Honorable Speaker, for us as members of the public to take the law into our hands, because that will be courting disaster and chaos in the country.
Hold on. It's okay for you to tell the citizens, don't take the law into your own hands. But you won't use the same energy to tell police officers not to take the law into their own hands. What is this man saying? And this is, these are characteristics of narcissist politicians. First, they soothe your ego and they make you think that they are defending you, and they make you think that they are reminding you of the rule of law, and they make you feel like, you know what, not all of these people are rotten, just 2 of them are rotten. But that is not justification enough for you guys to go causing chaos. But we want to sit here and act as if one life is not important enough to put the whole country on a standstill. We want to act as if Albert Ojwang needs to just be another statistic, right? He wants us to, tuone hii makosa ni ya polisi wawili watatu. It's not the entire police force, but it's the entire National Police Service that goes on changing statements and statements and statements. You have the IG apologizing because yesterday he said this and today he wants to say this, right? How exactly do you want citizens to look at you right now? How do you want people to look at you? Right now, Kimani, endelea kuongea.
Activists in the streets, Honorable Speaker, touting policemen, an armed police officer, and you are touting them.
Hold on, pay attention to the woman behind Kimani. She's like, yeah, I've seen activists touting police officers. She's like, yeah, comfortably sitting in National Assembly. And the other guy behind is on a phone. Like, we maliza kuongea tutoke hapa. We get what we are getting and get out of here. And this woman, she's like, yeah. Okay, let's listen in.
In the streets, Honorable Speaker, touting policemen, an armed police officer, and you are touting them. I saw somebody, Honorable Speaker, the other day in Nakuru, brandishing a machete at an armed police officer, and I must take this opportunity, Honorable Speaker, to commend that officer in Nakuru who was being taunted with a panga. His life would have been at risk, or the lives of other Kenyans, but he maintained his cool.
All right. Dear civilians, you are the rogue ones. You are the dramatic ones. You are the ones who show up in protests just because you want to taunt and, kupigana kifua na polisi. You guys are the rogue ones. I mean, you have a machete in front of a police officer. But let's watch that, because I know majority of us know what happened in Nakuru. Iyo tear gas imetoka wapi? So you want to tell me an innocent man will be on the street with a machete because he woke up and his senses zilimuonyesha today is the day. Today is the day I taunt a police officer. Today is the day I show them that I know how to use a machete. That's what Kimani is insinuating here. And then he goes ahead and commends the police officer for maintaining his cool. Right? For maintaining his cool, so that the civilian is portrayed in such a negative light. You guys are the most dramatic and rogue people in this place, right? But the police officers, I want to commend you for maintaining your cool. Kimani will not mention that instead of filing a complaint and have Albert Ojwang driven all the way from Homa Bay to Nairobi, how about you maintain your cool? How about you file what you need to file? Let the law take center stage. Let Albert be produced in a court of law. You stand on this side. Let Albert stand on this side. Let Albert answer for this defamation or slander. Right? Don't you think also the deputy Lagarde should also have maintained his cool? Be calm about it. I mean, he's in Homa Bay. Let him finish his lunch, and then you guys let the law take center stage and deal with this man legally. Why are you driving him all the way to Nairobi? Why are we getting different narrations? Karura, Kamtoa Uko, this one says this one says that. But Kimani will not remember such. Because according to him, you citizens, you are very rogue and you need to be dealt with. And you need to be dealt with accordingly. We've not finished. He still has much to say. And because we don't want to put him out of context, we have to listen to everything that he has to say, right?
That is the kind of spirit we want to see, Honorable Speaker. But we must also speak to our people. We must also speak to the public. That let us also treat our policemen and women with respect, with honor, and with the dignity that they deserve.
No. I don't care who Kimani Ichung'wah represents, but you will not lecture us and you will not tell us how to behave in the midst of injustices, especially from the same police officers that you want to come here and protect. You will not lecture us. You will not tell people how to behave and not address. Have you ever seen a situation where someone wants to play victim, but they're the ones who keep hurting you over and over and over again? And then they gaslight you into thinking, you know what? You are the guilty one. I had to deal with you the way I dealt with you, because had I not dealt with you that way, then something negative would have happened to you. So I saved you. I actually saved you, right? So you want to stand again, National Assembly, and lecture us on how to behave when we continue losing people again, left, right, and center. And we will get into the statistics of the extrajudicial killings that Kenya has witnessed 2024 and 2025. And then, as Kimani tells Kenyans how to behave, let him also tell us how the government has dealt with all these extrajudicial killings one by one, and also the missing persons, the disappearance, the abductions. Let him also tell us how they've dealt with this, right?
Honorable Speaker, it is said, Honorable Speaker, that if you want to know the cost of education, try ignorance.
Boy.
If you want to know the cost of chaos, Honorable Speaker, allow, Honorable Speaker, everybody to roam the streets and do what they want, and withdraw the police from those streets any day. Whether they are people picketing, whether they are demonstrators, whether they are mobilized looters, like we have seen, Honorable Speaker, in the recent past, what we are seeing are being described as demonstrations, are organized groups of goons, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, louder for the people at the back. Yes, organized goons. But what he will also not tell us is who is paying these organized goons. Did you not see yesterday? You have the police escorting the goons. Did he not see that? But because he's so dismissive of what is happening in the country, the live actions that are happening in the country, he had no time to check that. All he had time for is to talk to you about the true cost of ignorance. Let people roam freely without you putting officers in the streets. But have we not witnessed that? Have we actually not witnessed people roaming freely during peaceful protests? They've not damaged anyone's property, right? They've not attacked anyone. They've not stolen laptops. The way your police officers were caught on live cameras yesterday stealing laptops. We've not witnessed them destroying any property. No distraction whatsoever. Peaceful from A to Z. And you come here and talk to us about the true cost of ignorance. It's like, you know, guys, Kenyans are so dangerous. The civilians are so dangerous that if you let them roam free, the country is done. The country is actually done. If you guys were left to have peaceful protests, this country would not survive your wrath. You need to have police officers in your midst so that you guys can come correct. Anyways.
And you know, shamelessly, I had a leader purport that even the cars that were burnt last week were nowhere in the register of vehicles at NTSA. And I want to dare the former deputy president. It is okay to go and incite people on vernacular radio, but you must have the decency to adduce evidence of every allegation and claim that you make. Otherwise, you continue to exhibit the sort of ignorance that you served within office, even when you're out of office, Honorable Speaker. Kenyans witnessed those cars being burnt down. Now, these are cars, one of them belongs to a security company, Honorable Speaker. You saw the officers who are in the escort car. Those officers, my new Honorable Speaker, are allowed to use brutal force to protect.
Yeah, to kill people. Let me finish that statement for you. Let's go back to those cars, because we were right there. Let's tell each other the truth. Show me one peaceful protester who went and burnt those cars. We saw the goons. We know they were touched by goons. To create a narrative that the protests were dangerous. Wewe ukiangalia hivi watu wa maandamano, wenye wamezoea maandamano, the peaceful protesters, who even protect people's properties, Kimani now wants to stand there and convince us that the protesters were the ones who torched down those cars. And then insert a justification on why police officers are supposed to use brutal force on you guys. And the brutal force include firing live bullets on people like Eli Joshua, right? They include beating up people to a point of death like they did to Albert Ojwang. It's on us, guys. You guys caused the destruction. You guys, you burnt the cars down. You guys will even torch the entire country if you are left alone. If you are left to protest peacefully, you guys will torch the entire country down.
Protect what they are escorting. Because most of them, it's cash in transit. They do not know who are these who are stopping them in the streets when they are transiting with cash.
All right. Again, how many cars transport cash in this country? How come every single day we don't hear news or instances where these cars are being robbed? But all of a sudden, he wants again to justify what these cars are transporting and that these officers, they don't know who is coming after them, right? And should they be suspicious, open fire and shoot. You are allowed to use brutal force on someone you suspect is your enemy. But we have thousands of cars in transit, zimeja pesa, security cars, no one cares because that's who we are. We are peaceful. But when you send goons and they mix up with peaceful protesters, and then you go and say, you guys, you are the ones who did this. You want the whole country to buy that narrative because you are watching the news at the comfort of your home. Well, some of us are on the ground. Let's let this guy finish.
But those officers, Honorable Speaker, if you saw the video clips, they fired in the air to scare the people who are blocking the van that had the valuables that were transporting, and they were able to sail through. Unfortunately, the one that had unarmed officers, Honorable Speaker, ended up being torched. I'm saying this, Honorable Speaker, to appeal to members of the public. Let us not taunt our officers. Let us not throw our hands at them. Because I've seen people just brandishing their hands at officers, Honorable Speaker, and some restrain themselves. It's not every day you come across an officer who will be able to restrain themselves. Therefore, conduct ourselves, Honorable Speaker, in a dignified way. When we want to picket, when we want to protest, Honorable Speaker, we do it in a way that we are also not provoking these officers, that we are not provoking those who are running businesses in our towns, Honorable Speaker, because also this chaos comes with a huge cost.
I want you to look at the clip on your screen right now. Who is this man provoking? Who is this man taunting? Who is this man throwing hands at? Who is this man abusing? Because again, the blame is on us. We conduct ourselves in such a rogue way that you deserve to be treated in such brutal force, that you deserve a live bullet. Who is this man provoking? When Kimani stands there and lectures people and tells people, this man is not even an activist. Okay, let's say, go with the narrative that you have the activists throwing hands at police officers. But look at this man, innocent, with his masks. Right there. He didn't even say nothing. He didn't even say a word, right? And when he continues talking to us about how respectful we should be, he forgets to give you guys the statistics. Because the Missing Voices Coalition, they documented last year, 2024, they documented 159 cases of extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances. That's in 2024 alone. And one of those 104 of the 159 cases were police-related killings. 104 of those cases were police-related killings, right? And that number is even less. When you go back to 2023, we had 118 killings by police officers. How many of them have you seen arraigned in court? How many? Guys, how many of them have you seen arraigned in court? Not many. When he talks about the cars had been touched, don't you see someone somewhere knew they needed to use this narrative? Someone somewhere needed the cars touched because they knew this is the narrative we want to use on Kenyans, that these protests are not peaceful. And for us to accomplish that, let's just have 2 or 3 cars touched down so that we can be able to tell people, look at, and I saw that after maandamano ya juzi, the Thursday one. When people on the street, you could see it on X, and someone came and said, so kuandamana is destroying people's properties. And this is what happens when you are watching this maandamano from the comfort of your home, thinking it's okay to judge the people who were on the ground. But had you been there, you would have known the people who even touched those cars were not the protesters. Those were hired goons. And yesterday, caught live on camera, you can see on your screen right now, these are police officers escorting the goons. Because tell me how you have all these objects, you have all these weapons, and you are busy being escorted by police officers. Tell me why some of them are passing at Sakaja's office saying, Tumelinda Gigi. You want to tell me normal protesters were there in those dustbins? Or no, these are normal protesters in these street lights? You want to tell me these are normal protesters who are doing this? No. Because if you're in the field, if you're in maandamano, you get to understand that there are 2 different groups in these places. And one is definitely getting paid to scare you, to make you think that when you show up on 25th, during the anniversary, this is what will happen to you. Who did the man in this video provoke so that you go and lecture the whole country during such a period as this? You want to lecture the whole country on how they should behave, but you don't want to tell the National Police Service how they need to behave, right? And obviously, the National Police Service went ahead and released this statement in regards to the incident showing a police officer shooting at an unarmed civilian. And I want to remind you, this is in broad daylight. So you can imagine if they caught this man at night, what would have happened? What would have happened if they caught this man at night? They issued a statement. I'm not going to read all of it, but you guys can check it up on their X. But they still won't give the name. They say an unarmed civilian, an incident involving shooting of an unarmed civilian by a police officer. They have arrested the person. They've ordered for the immediate arrest and arraignment in court of the involved officer. What's the name of the officer? Give us the name. I see Kenyans, we've gone on X and we've dug. And now there's this man who people are saying this is the man. From his Kenyan bracelet and his other bracelet, his TikTok profile, his Instagram profile. When you are issuing your statement, why do you keep leaving the man? Last time, when you said Albert Ojwang, confirming Albert Ojwang was in your custody, you failed in your also first statement to tell us that the complaint had been filed by Lagat. We have to keep pushing you to give us the details. You talk about an attack on an armed civilian, but you will not tell us who this police officer is. Why do you keep protecting these people? If you're on the side of the people, why do you keep protecting these people? You know, let's not even talk about Sakaja. Sakaja is such a betrayer. Sakaja is what is wrong when you guys elect someone based on dimples. Sakaja is what is wrong when you say you have a governor, but his entire county is bleeding. Sakaja is the problem with this country. People like Sakaja, please next time, guys, because you have an opportunity to now make better choices come 2027. Please make a better choice. I don't care who is quiet right now. Personally, I refuse to remain quiet. And I want to take this moment to acknowledge the participation of everyone who is doing this, even in the midst of fear. And I've said, sometimes you have to leave the name empty because you don't know tomorrow it will be justice for who. You saw that banner of someone saying, I couldn't put a word here because I don't know whose word we are putting at the end of the day. Don't let someone lecture you unless they are telling you what they are doing to create change or enact it. People like Ichung'wah, they think they have the moral capacity to come and lecture people. And those other ones there, at the back, can't do that right on our face. Do it. Don't hide inside the National Assembly where you feel untouchable or where you feel people won't correct you on some of the things that you're saying. You know, go to the people and tell them such nonsense. Something is shifting. And I know right now people are divided. And I also want to use this platform to remind you, yes, we have great police officers. But let those great police officers also condemn the actions of the rogue police officers they have. You cannot talk to us about restraining yourself. Kwani, what were you taught before you became one? What were you taught? You were taught restrain. You were taught when to use live bullets. Stop gaslighting the civilians and making them feel as if this is all their fault. I saw Ruto yesterday. Also, I think that yesterday or the day before yesterday, when he was having this whole affordable housing seminar somewhere in Naivasha. And he said, yeah, atashtuka.
I would want to say this, Mr. President. A lie will always keep on changing shoes, but the truth is stubborn. Truth will always walk barefoot. Continue walking barefoot. Continue building for Kenyans. Don't listen to the distractors and politicians. Some of them, they supported this program when they were campaigning. But what happened? That they say that the program is not a good program. That is a lie. Continue walking barefoot. Continue building. In the next 10 years, you will have housed over 700,000 families. And that will be a greatest impact.
Usikue na wasiwasi na mimi. I cannot be distracted. I am a man on a mission to transform this country. And no amount of noise, kelele, fitina, propaganda, it sway Mimi from delivering on this agenda. And I am willing to pay the price, whatever it is, to make sure that we transform this country and we house as many Kenyans as possible. So I give you my word on that.
Yeah, that's your president saying atashtuka, but no one wants you shtuke, Mr. President. Ruto, no one cares whether ushtuke ama usishtuke. What we are asking you is do right by the people. Don't let Lagat step aside. Have him resign. Because let me tell you something, all that is happening right now might also divert our attention to who the enemy is. And until Lagat answers for his role in the murder of Albert Ojwang, let's not keep quiet. Don't forget those details too soon, because those are the details they want you to forget also. They want you to forget about Lagat. They want you to forget about Ruto's promises when it comes to extrajudicial killings. They want to utter such statements in National Assembly so that they can also divert your attention. They are paying goons to make sure that you guys get scared, But the anniversary of 25th is coming. And when it comes, the government has to account for what it has done right and what it needs to do better. And I hope during CAM 2027, you guys will make the right choices. Because Albert will not be a statistic. This innocent man who was shot yesterday would have been a statistic. Had people not rushed to save his life, he would have been a statistic. No. Let people protest peacefully because it has been done before and it has worked. But I can tell you what you fear. You fear seeing large numbers of people marching and seeking justice, and that being documented, and you seeing the number of people that don't want you to be in leadership anymore. That's what you fear. That's what you fear. You fear seeing those masses, the numbers. God, guys, you should have been in the protests to see how people peacefully march. Until some people started, instilling fear on other people. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Do what you must to save your country. March peacefully. Say their names, say the names of the 100 plus people who have been murdered by police. That's the only way we save our country, because police officers are supposed to be protecting you, not opening live fire on you. Nah, guys, nah. So even as your politicians continue lecturing you, don't let it get into your head. Ask yourself some very important questions. Who is this that protects these people, even when they go killing innocent people? Because someone somewhere is protecting them. And someone somewhere has told them, it's okay, you do what you gotta do. We got you. Someone somewhere. Because if we actually lived in a country that believed and followed the rule of law, the 100 plus people who have been murdered by police, we would have 100 or more criminals behind bars right now. So don't lecture people about the rule of law. Don't talk to us about people torched cars. No. Paid goons did that. And you know where the budget came from. It's not from the people. I haven't seen a paid bill from civilians saying donate here towards paid goons. Nah. That budget I haven't seen from civilians. No, I haven't seen from civilians. So, leave me your thoughts on the comment section. And no matter what they say, double check the truths in their statements. And as we approach the 25th anniversary of what happened last year, ask yourself important questions. What country am I leaving behind for my children? And what role do I have to play to make sure that this country is safe for my generation and the generation to come? Catch you guys tomorrow, hopefully. Bye.